Classical Greek artwork is generally recognized as a depiction of the real and the ideal. The art and architecture reflects on the qualities found most desirable during the time period. Classical Greek statuary not only reflected the rigid gender roles seen in ancient Greek culture, it contributed to the culture's development and influenced other factors. By viewing works embodying the shy sensuality of women, such as the Nydian Aphrodite, and the presented powerful norm of men as seen in Polykleidos' Dorophoros, Greek audiences internalized and then performed hierarchical gender roles. Analysis of the subject and style of these two statues and how they translate to architecture will enable understanding of the gender divide in Greek culture and how that divide manifests itself in classical artwork. The male figure, Doryphoros, stands with sturdy shoulders and a non-protective posture. There is a weight distribution on one supporting leg, a counterbalance of weight throughout the torso, and the head is slightly inclined towards one shoulder. Additionally, the Doryphoros is presented with an expression that is lively and portrays a sense of active thought. The Doryphoros stands confidently and powerfully nude. In contrast, the Nydian Aphrodite used the positioning of a hand to cover her pubis, while the top of her body and legs were fully nude. This was a way of depicting modesty, and it offered a way for sculptors to depict female nudity in a way that was considered chaste. The Nydian Aphrodite broke sculptural conventions this way. Not only did it represent a female figure, but it was the first time that a female was represented partially nude. Previous sculptures showed women clothed without exception, and while a number of artists used wet drapery to display women's bodies in an acceptable manner, none had made the leap to establishing a female nude that was the equivalent of that of a common Greek male nude. When put next to each other, however, both the Doryphoros and the Nydian Aphrodite have a different definition of what nude is. Although Doryphoros is nude, it is not for the viewer's benefit. It is to show the subject's ideal form and to display him as a hero. With the Nydian Aphrodite, however, her protective pose makes the viewer feel as they are the one with power. According to mythology, if a human should ever glimpse at the goddess Aphrodite unclothed, he would be struck with impotency. Yet, this statue allows the audience to view a nude Aphrodite with impunity. One important aspect to keep in mind is the head size. The head of the Doryphoros is 1/7 of the body, while the head of the Nydian Aphrodite is 1/8 of the body. This does not only place a female figure immediately below the male figure, but it puts an emphasis on the pedestal that male intelligence was placed on. The 1/7 and 1/8 ratio of male and female figures translates directly into ancient Greek architecture. The Doric and Ionic columns are prevalent in ancient Greek architecture, and they are generally modeled after ancient Greek statuary. The Doric column represents the male and is generally wide. The capital is purposely a large block shape to represent a large head, 1/7, or male intelligence, wide to represent strength, like the wide shoulders in the Doryphoros, and protective to display military power. The Ionic columns, however, tend to be thinner, putting them below in size and in turn below in power to the male Doric column. The capital is small and curved on both sides to represent a small head, 1/8, and hair. One example of this is the Parthenon. The Parthenon is a Doric temple with Ionic features. The ancient Greeks erected this temple for the goddess Athena, and around her were Ionic columns representing her femininity. To display military victory, however, the ancient Greeks surrounded the temple with Doric columns. This was not only a way to express military strength to outsiders, but the set of columns served to protect Athena as well. In conclusion, the overwhelming acceptance of the Greek male as the norm and the female as the other created and reflected the gender divide and tone of classical Greek statuary. This tone did not only affect the society's development, but influenced their artwork and their architecture as well.